Right, sees a few of you guys on here already. Go live. Geordie Journals at Stamford Bridge. Hope you can hear us alright. I'm interested to know your thoughts on this one. I'm going to go for a little bit of a wander. Do jump in the comments, let us know what you think. Got to say before we start on this Stamford Bridge one, it was a big thanks to everybody who got involved in the live during the week. Let us know also if you'd love that live to come back in that format with Keith, with other guests, with the other Geordie journos. Do let us know what you think, and we'll see what we're going to do. Right, see there's 21 new guys on here, so I'm not going to delay too much like I normally do at the start. I might take a little bit of a seat here in the stands. I'll lighten up a bit there. Right, so I'll tell you my thoughts first before I come into the comments. Found that a really difficult one to assess. For large parts of that game, I didn't feel like Newcastle United deserved anything out of it. I thought it was an utterly shambolic first 15 minutes, 20 minutes. Really shambolic. And I'll go through each individual player and talk about the pros and cons, and I will do that quite quickly in a moment. So do let us know your star man and the man who had a game to forget. So do put that in the comments too, and I'll read those ones out. First 15 minutes was awful. Newcastle went behind, kind of got to grips with the game a little bit. Although the lion's share of the opportunities fell the way of the home side, who I thought could have made a case to be deservedly in front at the break. But Alexander Isak pops up with a goal. A funny old day, because if you'd said before the game, does the lad need a goal to improve his confidence? And you probably would have said yes, but I'm not sure, given the rest of the performance, that was much, if at all, a confidence booster. Then the second half was nip and tuck. It was toed and froed, and an awful goal, the second goal to give away. But I thought again, there wasn't much in it, but Chelsea were probably predominantly the better side, creating the better chances, and it was almost home panic. Bearing in mind Chelsea have got actually not a great home record. They haven't, although they've had a decent season so far, the home record hasn't been great, so you could feel the panic here at Stamford Bridge as Newcastle pushed a little bit and had their opportunities. Again, Alexander Isak squandered a couple, one in particular which was madness, which I'm sure we'll come on to, when he rounded the keeper, and all he has to do is Joe Linton was smashing the ground at the back post, because he just had to be found. I think it may have been Joe Willock potentially as well in the box. It was easier to find somebody than do what he did, and I almost think he beat himself in his head, given the spell that he's going through and the form that he's had this season so far. I didn't really think Newcastle deserved anything out of that game. It's not a worst performance, and I think this game could easily be pointed at individual mistakes and errors as potentially being costly. I thought Nick Pope was dreadful for the second goal. Alexander Isak gave the ball away for both goals and was the ultimate cause of flipping over possession too easily, but he wasn't the only one on the day. But I'm not going to stick up for him, because I thought apart from the goal, I thought he had a real awful day. But yeah, I'm going to come in the comments and see what you guys think. 79 of you guys on here. We'll see how many join. If plenty join, we'll keep it going, and we'll talk as long as you guys want to talk. Don't be scared. See how you feel, as is always the case with the Geordie journals. It's hard. I always give myself a few minutes after the game, half an hour or so, just to assess, think. And it's funny because we've been at Stamford Bridge here before, and I feel like one of our last Stamford Bridge videos was very critical of Eddie Howe and decisions made. And I've talked in the past about being stale, and I do just wonder about what's going on. I'm not wholly convinced by what I'm seeing on the football pitch, and that's ultimately what a manager will be judged upon. If you guys aren't wholly convinced about what you see on a YouTube channel, I'll take the criticism. So will the lads. And I think it's only fair. I think that seems to be the case with Eddie Howe. I'm really not convinced by what I'm seeing. I'm watching a Chelsea team today with a clear identity. Yes, they're iffy at the back. There is no doubt about it. They will give you chances. Newcastle had some today, but they try to go with the press and then beat it with sharp movement and pacey players, and Palmer in the gap, in the hole. Jackson. Wow. I mean, I couldn't see a more transformative player I think I've ever seen one. He was probably, if we looked at one of the biggest donkeys going in the Premier League last season, and he was incredible today. But you would be when a defender gets so touch tight, you just spin them. And I'm going to go through the players now because I don't want to start picking out individuals, because I was going to go critical on the two centre halves there, but we may as well talk about the whole lot. Nick Pope, what are you giving Nick Pope today? I thought he was awful for that second goal. Flapped a lot today. He was punching things that were catches and made a good save in the second half. I'd have to see it again. Distribution wasn't great again today. Wasn't a good performance. Tino Livramento, I mean, Jordan described it as hot and cold, his performance. More cold than hot, in my opinion. What incredible defensive recovery from his own mistake. Tried to get forward in the second half, but very iffy defensively. Very iffy defensively. Kind of, he was beaten for the first goal. I'm not maybe going to point the finger at him there. The error came from Isak that allowed them to turn things over so fast. And I think Fabian Schär, who I'll now come on, who really should have read that one. That first goal, really should have read it. He almost reacted a split second too late and was never going to get there when he had the opportunity to get there. Fabian Schär and Dan Burn today look like two lads who are stuck between a rock and a hard place. Earlier this season, they were standing off and it was leaving cavernous gaps in the midfield again, which I'll come on to, between midfield and defence. Now they're having to play a bit higher, and it's criminal. You can't be getting rolled like what they were for Jacks. Dan Burn got rolled twice so easily. It was schoolboy stuff, and he'll know that himself in the first 5 minutes. Fabian Schär happened time and time again. Really, really poor stuff. Really poor. So I thought them two were... It doesn't look as though it's functioning. They haven't conceded a lot of goals this season, and against certain teams who play certain ways, they'll be all right. But against high-level teams who play the way that Chelsea do, they got shown up, and they will get shown up again if those two are playing. They miss really. It's been this season I've really thought they do miss Sven Botman massively, but I actually think they probably miss another type of defender. And you can see really watching today why they were so keen to go and get somebody like a Mark Gay, because Mark Gay will be comfortable going out to meet the ball and playing high, and really comfortable having to go back over his shoulder and go back. Neither of those guys are comfortable doing either, really. And they looked stuck between a rock and a hard place today. They were neither here nor there. Sorry about the cliches. Cliche central here on Geordie Journos. Where are we at? Lewis Hall. If Lewis Hall cuts out the major risk taken and little errors that are in his game, then I think he's got all the makings of a very good player. And I thought he was decent today. Again, apart from a couple of little moments, the midfield three for me is just not functioning. Now, I'll be the first one to take the criticism, and I took some criticism this week in social media and things when I even dared to question the notion of what does Sandro Tonali produce. But I will put that to all three midfielders today. It didn't work. It didn't work against a more technical, quality-laden midfield with a couple of sitters and players who were full of movement in the front three. They didn't know who was picking up and who wasn't picking up. Now, I didn't think it was for a lack of trying, but it didn't work. It didn't work last week, and people seem to think that it did because they had a lot of control against a Brighton team who sat in. I think it was more Brighton allowing Newcastle to have the ball than Newcastle really dominating and grabbing hold of the game. So that's the three. I'll count the three together. I'm not going to pick any one of those three out because I think as a unit it didn't work. They're missing somebody to sit in front of the back four. I've said it, I'm blue in the face, but the manager won't listen. And you guys will say the same out there, but he's been asked numerous times over the last 2 to 3 years about the idea of addressing that, and he doesn't want to address it. He will never address it. So I think we're all stuck in our armchairs being experts and not knowing what's best for the team. Midfield 3, forward 3. I'll come on the right first. I'll make you put a shift in. You know, he is what he is. I'm not going to sugarcoat what Miggy is. He put a shift in. He didn't really affect things massively, let's be honest. The other two did affect things. Alexander Isak was arguably, of every player that touched the green grass out there here at Stamford Bridge, was arguably the most influential player in the game. He was the most influential player, for better or worse. Scored a goal, had a hand in the other 2 goals, and inexplicably went round in the keeper. Like I said earlier, didn't take a chance. Had a really good header. Was involved a lot more than he's ever been in the last couple of games, but was still some way off. It just doesn't quite look the same. And I think it's in his head a lot of this at the moment. I think he was beating himself. It's hard to say because I think class is permanent. What's the saying? I'm all cliche in sayings. I'm full of cliches today, but I can't get this one right. Form is temporary, class is permanent, and I'm sticking to that. I do still think he's an absolute quality player. However, he's having a really tough patch and he needs help and support around him, and they're struggling a little bit at the minute. Harvey Barnes is the last player I need to assess. And again, at risk of sounding like somebody who's going to take some criticism on social media, etc., for my opinions on Harvey Barnes, but I'm yet to see it. I think unless he's operating in a 25-yard space in and around the box, I'm yet to see what he really brings to this team, because it's a lot of time when he takes the ball, when he starts games in particular, it stunts Newcastle's play. It's end of attack. It's not flowing. The flow ends with Harvey Barnes, and that's just not really the way I think that Newcastle United are set up or should be set up. 164 you guys on there, 23 likes. Give it a couple more likes, man, and jump in the conversation, because I'm going to go long if you guys want us to go long, or we'll stay short. It's always, as ever with these lives, entirely up to you guys. Of course, do like, comment, share, subscribe, get involved in the conversation, click the bell if you love your Geordie Journos videos. And also there's a thanks button. I mean, it was amazing. Like the amount of people, if any of you guys are on here who did contribute to the amazing live that we had in midweek, it was an absolute record breaker. More donations than we've ever received, ever close to received. It was probably about a 500% or 600% uptick in donations, and it was incredible. I can't thank you guys enough. We obviously do this. I don't get paid to do this, nor do the other guys who do the Geordie Journos, so we do just get involved and do this in my spare time. We're here anyway, and we love Newcastle United, and this is what we kind of love doing, so we're just doing that, and I love speaking to you guys, so that's why we jump on these lives. Right, my thoughts on Eddie Howe. I want to see him solve problems. I think top managers solve problems in games. Top managers don't allow games to run the way that he does sometimes, and I'm very frustrated with him being married to the 4-3-3. I think there are definite question marks to be asked about the way that the team is playing, the way the team is performing, and if Newcastle United want to be a progressive football club, they should be embarrassed at looking where they are in the table at the moment. Do I want Mike Ashley back? Do I want to go back to Steve Bruce? No, none of that rubbish. But you don't judge your past. You don't judge your future achievements or your future goals on your past achievements. You don't look back and say, it was rubbish before, so we're a little bit better now than we were. That's fine. No, that's not the way the football club is being run. It's the opposite to that. So we should be looking to progress, and progression is proven, I was going to say proven difficult. Progression is not happening. Progression is not happening at the moment. Newcastle are not moving forward as a team, as a football club. The whole place, I said it last week, the whole place feels stale. It feels like you need to kick up the backside. It needs to kick up the arse. Let's put it that way. So that's my thoughts. And I'm frustrated by what I'm seeing from the manager. Very frustrated. And I do think it's legitimate to be asking questions of what we're seeing. Like I said, if I was not doing my job at work, my bosses would be asking questions of what I was doing. I think the same probably will be happening here at Newcastle United. Right. I'm going to come in the comments and see what you're going to see what you guys are going to say. But it's been a tough day. 198 you guys on here. Keep watching. Let's get involved. Right. I'm going to go into the comments now. I might take a seat. You wouldn't mind, would you? I hope you wouldn't mind. I'll take a seat. You don't get the view of Stamford Bridge, but you might get less of me wandering and wobbling around. So I'll take a seat, see what you guys have got to say. Paul Featherstone, thanks mate, you were the first to comment today. Desperate at the back today. Game was screaming out for Kelly instead of Byrne. Isak scored, but he couldn't miss. Poor overall. Hall looked our best player today. I actually can't disagree with any of that. I think that's a fair assessment. David Bartel, all right, Liam? All right, David, how you doing? Paul Charlton, set pieces were woeful yet again. I was just speaking to the lads there. I don't really feel like set pieces was a question for post-match today. I know a lot of you guys jumped into the comments and said, why are you not asking about set pieces? It has actually been on the list. You only get a set amount of questions, so it has been on the list of both guys in the press conference, but they didn't ask it. And I sort of said to them, it's probably not worth asking today. It's more of a question for Tuesday. I'm not sure if they did ask it. I see that Dominic Skir has come out of the press conference. I think Jordan must still be down there. Probably with Enzo Maresca going on behind me. But we'll see. They might have asked, they might not have asked. I'm sure you'll see the quotes as it comes. Barry Hogan. Hello guys, missed the game, just got in, how bad were we? Some friends are slating and burning share, were they that bad? They were today, Barry, they were today. Thanks for joining the conversation. David Bartel, really doubtful of Eddie now. I don't think you're alone. Shields, you won. Shocking game management, conceded just after half time. That's schoolboy stuff. It was schoolboy stuff. Schoolboy stuff from Isak, who dropped his two midfielders short and didn't give him a chance to get the ball. And then I thought with Cole Palmer edging out towards the left, getting beat at your near post, the narrow one, shouldn't happen for Nick Pope, but he did not get down well at all. Gary Kilvington, I don't necessarily think it's individual errors. Individual errors may be pointing at today, but I think there's actually a strategy problem more than a individual errors. Individual errors are costing, but I think those individual errors are coming from a wider issue, a strategy issue. Are the players necessarily 100% in belief the way that they were? The system was always better than its individual parts. The individual parts of this team, the individuals in it, were never as good as the system as a whole. They all had to buy into it and be perfect in it for it to work perfectly like it did, not last season but the season before, and in patches last season, but we've never seen anything like that this season. I think it's part of a wider problem, and I think that stems from belief, trust in the manager, in the system, in the belief, in the ideas, in everything, because it's not getting results. And that's only natural, by the way. If something that you're doing was getting results, you'll believe in it. If it's not getting results, you don't believe in it, and that's just the way things go. Gary Kilvington, second best in every department. Sharon Byrne were horrendous. Let's get myself a bit more comfy. Paul Featherstone, we might as well face the other way on our set pieces and give it back to Nick Pope. Johnny Ola, Byrne and Share like Laurel and Hardy, but I didn't find them funny. Barry Hogan, David, if they did get rid of Howe, who would they bring in? I don't even think that's a question for now. I think we're actually just questioning, is Eddie Howe getting this team and this squad performing to the best of its abilities, and has his management maybe perpetuated some of that? Is it loyalty to players? Is the lack of want for trading out in particular led to this problem, because the team looks like it's desperate for a freshening up, but it isn't getting freshened up? And how does the club affect that in the future? I don't know. Barry Hogan did Gary Doherty, Pope was awful for the second goal, agree. Owen Bell, was a fascination with Fabian Schär and free kicks. Can't remember the last time we tested the keeper. Players to blame this game. What more can Eddie do? Isak should have squared it for 2-2, correct. Paul Charlton, Schär needs to retire after that performance. Johnny Ola, I thought Pope went down in instalments for the second goal. There was a couple of moments like that in the first half as well, to be fair. Barry Hogan, did Kelly get on stage? Yes, he did. Paul Charlton, why the hell won't they let Tonali take a free kick? I don't know. Does he take free kicks? Gary Kilvington, Isak should have been taken off after the chance. I think Eddie has taken his club as far as he can. I'm sorry to say, but the performances have been repeated time and time again. I think that's actually fair. Paul Charlton at the very end. Paul Featherstone, Kelly came on the 80th minute. David Bartel, subs once again predictable. Question for you, Liam, and everyone. Would you trust Eddie with 100 million in January? No, I'd leave it to Paul Mitchell. Owen Bell, what is the fascination with... Oh, said that one, got that one. Barry Hogan, the live one was mint. Liam, some fantastic views. Cheers, Barry. Paul Featherstone still back in how. This is down to the inept window. which Eddie Howe was a part of, by the way. I think that he can't be absolved of blame from the last few transfer windows, because he had a very heavy hand. Believe me, I know he's had a very heavy hand in what's gone on at Newcastle United, so he can't be absolved of blame when it comes to transfers. Marit, sorry Eddie, time's up. AJ, Newcastle players aren't putting any pressure on opposing players, they all stand off and let them make passes and dribble with ease. AJ, if it's a tactical choice not to get tight, then shambolic. I didn't know what they were trying to do today. Did they try and stand off a bit? Did they try and get tight early on? I don't know. They were stuck. They weren't really doing anything. They didn't do anything well. Ross McFarlane, any chance the lads can ask why we're so unproductive from set pieces? Not having a pop is a genuine question now. Ross, I've just answered that one. I hope you've seen it a little bit earlier. Balkan Mag, who was your man of the match? My man of the match today, I thought, let's talk about the game as a whole. I thought Reece James was excellent. When he's fit, he's some player. I really like him. Apart from that, Cole Palmer was excellent for probably an hour. Really, really good. Nicolas Jackson was outstanding. From a Newcastle perspective, Lewis Hall was the one who stood out for me. Probably the only one that I would say. Mamo Agay, how out. Kev Tay. I think with Gordon and Botman at the top of their game would be much better. However, they aren't, and we aren't. This team is stale. Correct. Kishori Kumar. That's a great introduction content. Oh, cheers, mate. I'm glad you're enjoying the content. Do give it a like if you're enjoying the content. That goes for anybody else on this channel as well. Paul Charlton sacked the set piece coach like the other clubs would. There isn't one, Paul. That is my understanding, which should really form part of a question from Eddie Howe, which is what we've been discussing with the lads off camera. David Bartel, does Eddie get asked why we are so poor in set pieces? Also, Bruno looks like he needs captaincy taken off him, not being the same player. Graham Doherty, the ref was rubbish as well. B. Taylor. It's my feeling that we come out in the second half not geared up from the off, as it just maybe feels like that. Case Ball UK, wrong tactics, wrong players, wrong sub, wrong manager. Fly just slanted. Kev Tay, Chelsea squad's better than ours, so is their manager. They'll be challenging in years' time, we will be getting left behind. Magpie Ranger, is Eddie wedded into the same system and style? Has been largely found out. Best when he was Lewis Hall, and worst was Dan Bird. He struggled against Chelsea square forward and should have subbed. I agree with all of that. I do think this system, as I said a few weeks ago, has easily been found out. It got found out only by Aston Villa in that first amazing season when Newcastle qualified for the Champions League. I was the only team really to find it out. The alarm bells really went ringing. Was it in the August to September that when Brighton did a real number on Newcastle down at the Amex on the south coast, where Ferguson, I think, did he get a hat-trick? Definitely scored a couple. Really found out. So I would say Villa found them out in the first season. I would say 7 or 8 teams found them out last season. Injuries aside, of course, it was a thing. It did make an impact, but I think as a system and a team, they got found out by 7 or 8, 9 teams last season. I think virtually every team's found them out this season, and that just shows not only it's not just about if you're a good manager, it's not just about refreshing the personnel. If you can't bring if you take all responsibility away from Eddie Howe, right? Take it all away from him. And say the only way you can improve things is with the current players you've got, the system, the tactics, the thinking, whatever it may be. You've got to do that. You can't rely on just the same old. It isn't working. That you need to change it. Where are we at? Davey Eddie. Isak looks disinterested to me. Tonali had 0 impact. Big Dan and Cher, stale and slow. Longy, Murphy, Almiron, Willock got to move on. Kelly deserves to start centre half. Barry Hogan, Liam, how much do you feel that he's running out of time to improve things? Maybe I need some more detail before I answer that question. What do you mean? Are you asking me if I think my experience from the people above, do I think he's got running out of time, or are you just asking for my opinion on whether I think he's running out of time? Jump back in and I'll answer it. Steve C. Liam, we need a reset. Average team, no more, no less. Not necessarily Eddie's fault, PSR's criminals discuss. Yeah, I think we do need a reset. I think there are, as I've said before, this team was always, another cliche, better than the sum of its parts. So when the team's functionality has gone, the individuals become key, and that's when they're getting problems. Cher and Byrne being asked to press up doesn't work against clever forward lines who move a lot. Livermento's defensive questions, he's getting asked a lot of questions for a young lad. The midfield three didn't function at the start of last season, isn't convincing me anymore that it can function this season. And unfortunately, someone like Alexander Isak, who was carrying the team to an extent at times last season, is lacking. The same goes for Anthony Gordon, who missed out today. Where we're at, not necessarily Eddie's fault. I do think a lot of the problems that we're seeing, I think it falls on the manager. That's just me in any walk of life. He's the man with a name above the door, so he's the man who has to take us forward. He puts that team out there every week, so I don't think it is necessarily not Eddie's fault. I do think it is, but I also agree PSR is crippling the football club in their wider strategy. Hope that answers your thoughts, Steve C. B. Taylor. Well, why is Tonali always the one to be taken off? Honestly, you just don't understand it. I think that's the first time since the Dan Burn stuff last season where Newcastle United fans have openly questioned Eddie Howe with the boos. It happened a little bit in the home game. It definitely happened today. It was quite loud from the away following. They did get a bit of a shushing, but I think it's fair. If you don't think the manager's making the right decision, I think anybody's entitled to call that out. And I think that's what we saw from the Newcastle United fans today. Do I think Tonali was deserving of being taken off? I didn't think he was too bad today. Like I say, I can't really pick any of the three individuals out. Bruno was hot and cold. Joe Linton was hot and cold. Tonali was very good in the forward press, but really lacking in defensive areas at times as well. So I couldn't have picked any one of those three to say they were really they let the team down. I just want more from Tonali. They didn't pay 60 million quid for Sean Longstaff, nor did the Joe Willock, nor did any of the midfielders. So maybe I'm holding the Tonali to slightly higher standards, but I do expect a little bit more than that. Maybe call us if I'm wrong, don't mind. 231 of you guys on here at Stamford Bridge. Thanks for joining, everybody. 58 likes, needs a few more than that. How where? Anyway, where we at? Christopher, thanks for all your comments, guys, when you're jumping in. What Isak did was unforgivable. Swear with Joe Linton, it's 2-2. He's far too clever for his own good sometimes. I think he thinks he's better than he is. Piss poor. I think with that one where he rounds the keeper, I think he's trying to be the Isak of old. Instead of just doing the simple thing, which he would have done last season, he would have just squared it last season. He's trying too hard. Trying too hard to recapture the form, and he's beaten himself in his own head. Everybody's been there, everyone will have done those type of things. Not to say playing football, but every walk of life he'll do that. I just think he needs to remember what he is, and the old Isak wouldn't have done what he did there. He would have squared and it would have been 2-0. Michael McKee, all feels stale to be fair, Eddie. He hasn't had a new signing for 2 windows. However, identity, set plays and formation all feels a bit stale. Okay, Michael, what I'll say on that one is he had over £150 million to spend in the previous summer, and how many of those players are actually having a really positive impact on the first team? I would argue only Lewis Hall is a consistent performer from last summer's window. I think Livramento is hot and cold. I think Tonali, we're not really seeing the level of impact that I think that Outlay has suggested, and Harvey Barnes, for me, as I mentioned earlier, is severely lacking in my opinion. Doesn't mean I'm right, doesn't mean I'm wrong. Come in and say your opinion, but I'm very disappointed by what I've seen from Harvey Barnes. This isn't just today. People who've watched Geordie Journals will know, I probably said it 6 months ago, that when he just come, not long after he just come back, I'm not seeing a player who really influences games as much as I want him to. And all I would ask on that question front is, if Harvey Barnes was to go on the open market tomorrow, how much does he return? Does he return the £38 million that Newcastle United spend? I would question that. I'd question that massively. So that probably answers your question, really. Keith Gray, the team has to perform. That's their job. This is a boardroom issue too. Utterly woeful mismanagement of the club. Even Ashley couldn't be argued how the actual club managed, and that's some statement. Paul Chollet, Eddie's time's up. I'm afraid not a chance. He's turning this round. Richard Woff, can't see how. And starting next season, a lot of work needing to be done. Michael Pomar, Burn was dreadful, so bad, making Jackson look like he's a world beater. Mind you, Jackson was better than Isak. He was on the day, no doubt about that. John Walker, Pope has no confidence this season. Burn and Share are leaking goals every week. How needs to change to 4-3? Change 4-3-3. Sorry, I can't disagree with you there. Barry Cope, Isak, that was criminal. King Salvador, Chelsea or Liverpool? Are you asking who I think is better? I think Liverpool are slightly better than Chelsea this season, simply because I think they're more capable of putting together a consistent run. With the cleaners coming in, I'm going to be cleaned out of these seats. I think I better shift. I better start moving. I'm reluctant to go too close to the pitch, because as you'll see on my shoulder, there's some kind of heat treatment going on here, and a lamp and lawnmowers galore. What is the cleaner sweeping? I think I better shift. I'll shift to the back of the stand. Sorry, I'm getting in everybody's way. Hey, they're doing the proper jobs around here. The proper jobs, not just me waffling on here to you guys. Right. Davy Eddie, we lack pace and vital positions, just running through the clots. As I mentioned, Tonali was poor. Barry Hogan, Liam, would you give either Alex Murphy or Lloyd Kelly a go instead of Shea or Byrne? Yeah, I would have played Kelly today. Byrne isn't fit, doesn't look fit, almost missed the game today, almost missed the game last week because he's carrying this injury. Take him out of the team. You've got Lloyd Kelly there, who's on significant money at Newcastle United. Significant money, I'm led to believe. So if you sign a player for that, you've got to play them. So give him a chance. I thought that would happen. Where are we at? Graham Doherty, 1-0 to the Arsenal. Dovey K, I'm not getting into politics, so jog on. Gary Moffat Blues. Why are we struggling with set pieces? And why do we have a set piece specialist in Tonali but not using him? I have no idea. I honestly don't know. I don't really know what's going on. I don't. Richard Waugh. All best player taken off. I'm not sure he can finish. I'm not sure he can finish at this intensity yet. So I wouldn't necessarily blame Hal for that one. I'm just not sure he plays it. He can finish at that intensity. Finish at 90 minutes yet, which would begs questions of its own actually. In many ways. I'll find a seat here. Here we are. Christopher Shea looks like he's lost interest now. Barry Cope, do you think Eddie's time could be up? No, I don't think it is. If you're asking me that, I don't think his time is up. I don't think that's what Newcastle United will do. B. Taylor, the club must support how in January last two windows have been woeful. Davy Eddie, correct Liam, Share is miles off the pace, stands off way too much. Big Dan, like a milk float. Marriott, if only we would have had Emery. Mark Kerrigan, Eddie Howe's on thin ice. Richard Waugh, too many bosses in the midfield. Marriott Bruno was sloppy today. Cristobal, sorry Eddie has to go. No excuses if there's Pardew or Bruce. There'll be banners. Tony Selby, Liam. Why isn't Eddie adapting to opposition? Everyone knows about Chelsea's pace. Off Eddie, love the shows. Cheers Tony. I don't know. He's only a man who can influence that. He needs to start adapting. The in-game management has always been questionable. Even when things were going well, it was rare that there was a major influence on the team itself in games positively. And I think we're seeing that from the off now. Today it was much like, you know, Newcastle in any given season can get beat 2-1 at Chelsea. And they did give them a go, but it's not really meant to be like any old season. Newcastle are meant to be looking like a football club who want to compete for European places this season. They don't look anything like it this season, in my opinion. Barry Cole, get David in a winger, in January. David Ray, 4-3-3, ride or die. Feels like we're playing in 2020. Fair, I think that's fair. Gary Moffat Blues, we need a manager who can play 4-2-3-1. Fair enough. Eddie ain't that guy. Paul Featherstone, if the transfer window was open now, we have bids for Tonali, Willock and Longstaff. If you could keep only one, which would it be? It's all hypotheticals. I don't even think I'm going to go down it. If I had to let one of those three players go, in my opinion, it would obviously depend on the offers, but it would be Joe Willock. That would just be my opinion. Ross McFarlane, how stubbornness will cost him his job. Gary D, for me, Liam, nothing is changing. Eddie is too stubborn to change. So for me, I'm coming off the fence. Elite managers find solutions to problems. Eddie Howe is not. John Askew, you say the midfield 3 isn't working. Does the 4-3-3 work? It's killing us, man. At the moment, Eddie is helping everyone but us. It's beggars belief. I don't think it suits any of the three players who are playing in midfield. I don't think this system suits them at all. I think this system suits the centre halves. I think that's the problem. He's got an idea on what he wants to play, but really, is it suiting the players he's got? It doesn't look like it is. Davey Eddie, if Chelsea beat us on Wednesday and then Arsenal beat us, Eddie could be gone. Can't believe I'm saying it, even though I think we'll win on Wednesday. Gagius, in form, if form were permanent, we'd easily be top 4. B. Taylor, I agree, Liam Barnes brought nothing today. The game is screaming for Gordon. Ian CR65, no elite manager will come to us with our PSL problems at the minute. I think that's also a fair point and one that has to be understood. Kevin T, Dan Burn is not a Premier League defender. He is. But he's operated at a certain level throughout his career. Shares going backwards, that's possible. Fullbacks are kids. We're coming on. Midfield needs a number 6 to free up Bruno. I think that's right, correct. Right wing is vacant, needs a player, definitely. Isak not a target man. Barnes, shrug of the shoulders. I think that's fair. John asks you, has Eddie got any credit in the bank left? If we're sticking to 4-3-3, we're stuck with a system that fails. I don't get it. That's a fair comment. Keith Gray. What about the boardroom? They've let people down, don't understand PSR, and certainly can't manage it. Shocking. No, I think there's definitely questions need to be asked, because I think decisions should have been forced on Eddie Howe by now. I don't think he should have had so much control over certain players who remain. He should have been made to sell certain players when they were, hindsight's a wonderful thing, but none of us here are making these decisions. None of us are influencing them even. So people who are paid to make these decisions have got a lot wrong. But I think Eddie Howe's got a lot wrong, and I think Eddie Howe continues to get a lot wrong every week. Gets some things right, of course he doesn't get it all wrong, but ultimately I'm the type of person who believes in responsibility, and I think responsibility falls with any manager, good, bad or indifferent. Keith Gray, what about the boardroom? They've let people, sorry I've just read that one. Michael Palmer, Harvey Barnes was a 30 million luxury buy that was either not properly scouted or showed a lack of trust that Gordon would come good. Porter, Zidane wants the job, now out. Barry Cope, safe journey home, lads. No, I will have to jump off at some point. I'm alright now. I'll keep going on as long as you guys want to, but we'll probably get kicked out of Stamford Bridge and then not do this in the future. And of course, we have to do a little bit of a longer video as well with the other two guys, so we'll not be on too much. Michael Palmer, we've got to remember where we were. I know, I've heard that one. Rob Bulmer, can you shout out to my girlfriend Christina, please, Liam? Rob Bulmer's girlfriend Christina. Hope you're having a lovely weekend and afternoon, and it hasn't been spoiled too much by Rob's mood when it comes to Newcastle United, as can so often be the case when you live and breathe black and white. Johnny Ola, I don't know how out, but he hasn't progressed in my humble opinion. I am now dubious. I think that's not a bad point to be at. John Askew, imagine if Brucey was manager now, he'd be getting dogs abuse. Lee Taylor, well said, Liam. I don't know what I said, but I'm glad you liked it. Derek Sharp, Liam Howe needs to go. Murray, the team looks like it needs a refresh. Porter, Howe isn't the job. And I feel sorry for Porter, he was under fire. SGR, Isak was so frustrated today, so many chances. He should put them away. He let Howe down today. John on the radio, hi Liam, hello mate. David Ray, Mitchell is 100% right. The squad building has been awful for 2 years. Lee Taylor, if we carry on like this, how long for Eddie? Captain Keyford, hi Liam, thanks for doing this. Do you think Howe has reached his ceiling? I do. He was always in this position. He was always going to have to continuously keep improving and proving that he was worthy of the position and worthy of the job, etc. And I think he's at a really crucial point now where he needs to keep proving that. He needs to keep proving that, because they can't keep stooping lower. If he keeps stooping lower, his job is going to be at risk. There is no two ways about it, but I don't think it is at the moment. John Askew, with our owners, it's a hugely exciting and important time in our club's history, and he can't be allowed to mess it up. Need to get the owners as well. They haven't actually made the best decisions recently, so they need to improve themselves. Owen Bell, what was the fascination with Fabian Schär free kicks? Can't remember the last time he tested the keeper. Gary Day, I really hope the powers that be at the club have a list of replacements, because we're expecting to be fighting for Europe, not 3 points off the fifth bottom. We need to be ruthless now and back a new man. Black Dog, I would like to ask why Nick Pope can't catch a football. Michael Palmer, have not scored a goal from a corner all season apparently. 40 plus attempts, biggest drought in the Premier League. Derek Sharp, Liam, De Pia, the set pieces are dreadful, they're really awful. Derek Sharp, Liam, De Pia, bringing a CEO that resets the whole club for the manager of the squad. Give a remit to Mitchell to bring in young hungry players. I actually think it needs a reset. I'm not saying that's necessarily the way to go, but it would definitely ruffle some feathers, I can assure you that. Sean Clowney, mate, you're becoming more and more comfortable and great at this. So genuine, and how the hell you compose yourself with this frustration if you're feeling as I do. Well done, my mate. Thanks, Sean. No, I really appreciate these positive comments. It's nice to hear. I just come on, have a bit crack. I just said I'd love to see somebody film what I can see. It's just all the people just see me walking around with a phone, looking like I'm chatting to me phone. However, we move. John Askew, 2 points out of 15. It's unravelling, and Richard Masters and colleagues must be loving it. John Adair, how I found out. Ian CR 65. Our owners have messed up, not support Eddie in the last 2 years. Dean C, oi oi Liam, oi oi Dean C. Craig Banks, really feels like it's all going stale. PF need to step up and move things forward. Brian Helens, will Eddie Howe be manager by Christmas? I think it's up to him. I think it's all in his court. So we'll wait and see. Dean C. Today showed we are dated in defence. I think the two centre-halves are starting to look their age. Today, they look their age. I'm not saying that's all the time. They might have good games. They might improve. I don't think the system helps them. But they look their age today. Brian Helens feels like he'll be gone. John Askew is Eddie on borrowed time. What is that to suggest will come good again under his stewardship? I don't know yet. I'm not saying it. Barry Hogan, who would you bring in? I'm not going there. Derek Sharp, I think Eddie May. Whoa. Not heard that. Michael Pomar does 2 on Flatter and you see today. I thought so. Other people might disagree. Porter, please. Dan wants the job, does he? Keith Gray. What about the boardroom? They've let people down. I think I've already answered that one. John Askew. Time for the journals to quit as Eddie on 4-3-3. Clearly it doesn't work. Somebody's put it back. Like really, am I? I've never been accused of anything like that. Not even close. You shouldn't be in the comments. We're not saying naughty words like that. MC. DNC. VR done me out of 60 quid. That's 3-1. Fair enough. I don't like betting against the 2-9. David Cook, I thought I put a decent effort in. Just played out by a stronger team. They definitely had more quality. John Askew, Eddie is underachieving with the squad he has available. Do you agree? Is underachieving? I think certain parts of the squad have been found out, but I do also think he's underachieving. Derek Sharp, Liverpool 1-0. Chris Kerr, good to see you in the chat, mate. Get the Greek lad in goal. We try to start from the back, and Pope is the weak link. Yeah, he has been actually, and I didn't think he was amazing with his really strong suit, which is his shot stopping today. So it's not a bad shout. Black Dog. Everything we do at the minute is half-hearted. Michael Pomar should be looking behind us in mid-table rather than above now. Well, I think so. Peter NUFC. Turd emoji. It's fair enough. Don't know this name. Gunter. Loving the stream. Just quickly, any tips on how I can get... You're not very funny. I thought when I seen the name, I'm not going to read it out. They try hard, but they still haven't got me yet. Cristobal, would you take relegation and a trophy? No, I would take a trophy, but I don't want relegation, so I'm not even going to make that choice. George Cronin, if Eddie comes out and says we completely is deluded, LG, we just got a reality check. We're a mid-table team. Cristobal, we're not even a mid-table team. Rob Foreman, we do need some really hard-working and class players. Stephen Burgess, we need a lock picker. I've said that before. Cristobal, world-class players aren't coming to us. Agreed. Agent Tech Streams, there's no attacking manager available if it's not Eddie. Brian Helens, when Botman is fit, who drops out? Burn. Barry Hogan, do you think Isak is anywhere near fitness? Is that the issue? I don't know on that one, to be honest. But he just doesn't look quite right, does he? Trying too hard. LG, too many old players, shotgun bench, no depth, subs on good enough. Bryce Hunter, analysis type shit. Yeah, that's kind of what we're doing here, mate. Gary D, Liam is, if everyone can see the system is being found out, the manager keeps playing the same system, and we're not budge, how do we move forward? We are and have been for a long time going backwards. Yes, I absolutely agree. I've been banging that drum for a little while now. Porter, Eddie out, Zidane in. You love Zidane. Michael Pomar, we are letting PSR cripple us. You need to take a leaf out of Man City's book. I don't think they're going to do that. LG, Sandro just doesn't have anyone to play off on the right. Waldo, Tonali was ordinary today. Jake Curtin, that wasn't Eddie's fault today. We had chances. Chelsea's £1 billion squad. Sean one, poor again today from the lads. We seem completely devoid of ideas, and non-fans still claiming the idea of the most overrated manager. Rob Foreman, take out Byrne, put in Kelly, take out Shea, put in Kraft. David Kitchen, DePay still have the ambition to be number one. They seem to think so, so we'll wait and see. Bill Railton need to stop talking about winning trophies and qualifying for Europe and get back to basics of playing football and winning games. Talk is cheap. PIF, management, players. It's time to step up to the plate. David Somerville, we've been guilty of overrating our players recently. All of our forwards are too weak, and that includes Isak. Feel Mokdu. Isak is trying to help his team. Well played. Stephen Burgess, Isak playing like he's after that Arsenal contract. Forgot about the team in the second half. Wrath of God, Messi or Ronaldo? It's a random one to ask in this misery-torn live stream from Stamford Bridge, Chelsea, but I think it's Lionel Messi all the way for me. Jay Curtin, Harvey Barnes is a super sub. He's always been underwhelming when starting. Dubs, how out? LG, we can't compete with top 6 teams and there have been 60 million for players on the bench. SGR, I think Wilson fit is much better for Isak. Having to compete for his position keeps his feet on the ground and focused. We are really missing Wilson. Anon, how out? Agent Tech, can you add Eddie? Can you ask Eddie why Tonali's not taking free kicks? I have no idea. Wrath of God. We're going to go through all the footballers. I like this. Cafu or Ramos? I really like Ramos, but I'm going to go for the flair of Cafu. I don't know. KFT, Paul Mitchell got battered for saying the transfer policy was not fit for purpose. He was spot on, correct he was. John Askew, yes, some videos recruits are underperforming, but quality players cannot thrive if the system sucks. That's also correct. Wrath of God, Beckham or Owen. I'm not picking Michael Owen, am I? No chance. Beckham. LG, Kev, 100%. Rob Foreman, Barnes better than other forwards. If he gets the ball, he scored goals. They try to push through the middle for Isak. It does not work. William Marr. I still don't get the Tonali love in. He doesn't impact the game at all. Willock and Miggy are finished. Paul and Bruno, only bright sparks. Actually, I've addressed the Tonali thing. People don't like to hear it, but who knows. Like, comment, share, subscribe. If you're still on here, 92 likes, 196 of you guys watching. I've done nearly 47 minutes on here at Stamford Bridge. Who knows? Give it a like. Anything you can. Of course, there's a thanks button if you do appreciate things we do with Georgie Journals. You know what you can do with thanks. Anon. Howard problems with Ashworth now with Mitchell. He's a control freak and really bad at that. Wrath of God. They should get Pogba back in and play him up front as he's an attacking centre forward. Cristobal, just a reminder, target is collecting 100k a week. Kelly 150. LG Byrne not fit. Kelly on the bench shows Eddie is the problem. B Taylor, great crack, Liam, enjoyment. I'll enjoy it all, mate. No worries. Mark Magstaff, regress share for a while and start Kraft. DK 35. Why is Kelly not playing when he's out quickly? Centre back, Wrath of God. Eddie out. Zidane in. Zidane's getting some good shouts here on the live. Barry Hogan, Liam, what chances there of how changing from 4-3-3? No idea. I don't think he will. King Salvador, shoo! I like it. Tom Dixon, Liam will go and be fit for Wednesday. Dom, will Gordon be fit for Wednesday? Gordon be fit for Wednesday? He's having a scan tomorrow. On what? Groin. He's having a scan tomorrow on his groin. That doesn't sound great, does it? But you never know. Cristobal, Zidane incoming here, lads. Dawn, hi Liam. Rob Foreman, 1-1 Arsenal game. Happy man, you got beat on Spurs. King Salvador. Holy Tottenham. Cristobal, Ancelotti in Agent Tech streams. It's not Eddie, he needs new players. Wrath of God, how many World Cups has CR7 won? None. Good shout. I'm seeing this. I'm seeing the to and fro in here and I like it. LG, Bruno, a great player, but he's not a captain. He should have been screaming at the players. John asks you if Eddie's time is up and 4-3-3 fails, what hope have we got? LG, no investment is shown. Waldo, could Tino not be moved in sideways that wide where he's struggling compared to last season?
I've been told we're being kicked out.
Oh, we're being kicked out?
Well, I've been kicked out and I've been told to tell you.
Oh, we're getting kicked out.
We could just hide.
I mean, we could.
Live, so.
Yeah, it's still live. It's still going. The comments are still coming in. I said I couldn't walk away.
Plenty to talk about.
Yeah. Do you want to chip in if you hear anything you like? What about Tino moving inside?
Inside?
Yeah.
Where?
The dressing room, I think. Anyway, Wrath of God, we should try sign Vardy or Salah. What about that one?
What's going on?
I don't know. He's asking.
Salah would improve the team.
He would.
I'll tell you that. Yeah.
Right, so we'll run through. What about Cafu or Ramos?
Ramos.
I went Cafu.
Is it your time, Ramos?
Yeah.
My time.
Beckham or Owen?
Probably Beckham.
You can't pick Owen.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And the big one, Ronaldo or Messi?
Messi.
Oof. That's what I went for too. I hope that helps you there, Wrath of God. We've got a couple of likes anyway. LG Tonali's got a right wing to play off. We can't play Eddie's way with the players we have. Cristobal, I'm sick of the no investment excuses to wear him thin. Alan Thompson, Liam, that was truly awful. It's not how the players are not good enough. Simple as. Derek Sharp, Tonali took free kicks from Milan and has fair enough. Nathan Page getting bored of all this. I hope not the live stream. LG Mitchell was right. Agent Tech is Eddie doing post-match, he's just done it. Nathan Page, I mean the team, not the stream. That's fair. DK35, LG, I don't know what it means. Wrath of God again, we should sign Pogba and play him up front. I'm not sure about that one. John Mitchelson, Share and Byrne to slow now for the Premier League, and in my opinion, 2 central defenders needed. Peter NUFC, team full of Eddie's nice lads. Donkeys and Ashley's dross. Derek Sharp, let Mitchell get on the rebuild. I expect Isak, Bruno and Will to be sold as part of the revamp. Paul Featherston, which soccer stadium are you at? Anybody?
Inside,
he's going, and I'm going to have to move as well because I'm going to get booted out. Right. God, how many comments? I can't do it. I've seen so many comments. And I'm just going to the end. Dean C, Bruno or Gaza. It's got to be Gaza. Gaza's the man. I'm going to quick. Oh, Dean C, Messi or Beardsley. It's got to be Pedro. Pedro's the man. Definitely got to be. And I wish so much I could go through all of these comments. There is loads. And I love you all for jumping in the comments, but I'm going to get booted out and I've also got work to do, so I'm so sorry. 200 odd people on here. I should not be kicking you out, but I am being kicked out of Stamford Bridge. We'll see you in a longer video, probably done from outside Stamford Bridge, which was lively to say the least the last time we did it. Looking at Dom's face, he remembers. It was we had a few video invaders. Let's hope not. Let's hope not this time. Good night from the Geordie Journals.